Welcome to the Farm Ferrari. This is our 1981 HJ47 landcruiser troop carrier that we flew across the country from Perth to Port Lincoln in South Australia. Picked it up more or less sight unseen and drove it all the way back to Perth, taking 4 days across the Nullarbor.
Got back last night, so we'll see. It's definitely a bit rustier than we would have hoped, but we have plans. It's definitely not going to be a full resto. We don't have time for that, so we're just going to get it good enough to get registered with a good touring setup, because our plan is to put it on a container and send it to Africa.
So that'll be the next stage of our big safari. That's the grand plan. Kit it out, drive it around Southern Africa, have the wildest time and take it as far as we can.
So yeah, if you want to follow along, keep watching. We're going to show you a bit of a walk around, see what the starting point is, and then keep going.
Right, so we're going to start by ripping the whole old camp setup out. We were fortunate enough for the guy that we bought it off to have left all of his old stuff in here, meaning we could just drive straight across the country without having to really buy anything or set ourselves up, which was really fortunate.
We just need to see how much rust we're dealing with underneath all of this, because it's probably hiding quite a bit, unfortunately. So yeah, let's get into it.
Been quite well built in here. Fits tight.
Oh, yeah.
Mystery box. Ah! Treats.
I'm going to be able to
What do we have here?
cut that out.
Always wanted one of those. There it is. Hello. Another toolkit. And some more rust.
It's not much. Is it? This can we cut that out though, right? It's a whole waste of space. Look at this side, got nothing. So we just pulled the red setup out, and we didn't realise that these old troopies, their body doesn't go all the way out to the wheel arches, except for that little hole, which is great, but it's so much unusable space for a wrap it out. What the hell?
So we're gonna have to get a bit more creative. I'll potentially fab up a recess into this body section here for the fridge to live in. It's not that hard, it's all square panels. For now we're just going to have to patch it up, get it ready for registration. And then we're going to have to get quite creative with building a usable space in the back of this thing. Not as fortunate as having a late model troopy where they just have a recess for a wheel arch and then the rest is expanded out to the exterior walls. But yeah, that's some of the perks and quirks of buying and attempting to modify a vintage car.
Good note, I don't see much rust.
Looks pretty good.
So, that's amazing. I think there's a tiny little bit of rust there, but up there. But that's not too bad.
A few moments later.
Oh dear.
Rusty?
Not too bad.
Oh, I see a hole. Oh.
Drain hole.
Yeah.
Let's the rust out.
Some aircon for the dogs.
Extra. So we're digging out all the sound deadening and finding some moderately horrific results. Nothing too major in all honesty. It's reasonably achievably repairable. But yeah, there's been some patches in the past that we're uncovering, so some people have had a crack at it before, and yeah, just got to keep chipping away, unearthing all the little treats and tricks and horror stories as we go. So far so good, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of welding and fabricating of small patch panels involved, that's for sure, but that's what we expected to do, so yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary so far.
Chipping away quite literally. When you by mistake put the screwdriver through the floor.
Yeah, found another little bit of ventilation down there, so it's all good. Free aircon.
We're back again this morning after going to Bunnings and just getting the essentials. Today's job is we're going to remove the rest of the scrub bars, side steps, all those little things, and then probably start removing some of the rust and getting into it, and also try and get rid of the rest of the sound deadening. It's really hard to get rid of, so we bought a few things for it this morning. Yeah, that's about it. Labelling all our parts in Ziplocs so we don't lose anything.
Right, so we're attacking the rust now. Lauren's out to get some panel steel for us so we can start replacing some of these flat sections. Picking off the low hanging fruit here, like the bottoms of the sills and the sides of the walls. It's all flat panels, it's pretty easy stuff to replace. So I'm going to use the flat disc and get all the paint and the surface rust off, see what's underneath it, chuck a cutting disc on and cut off anything that needs removed. When Lauren gets back with the panel steel, be able to make up some sections and tack them back in to fix that problem. In terms of the inside of things, we are opting for patch panels to repair the floor pans. They're not that bad. We could bug around and make our own patches up if we wanted to, but time versus money here, we are a lot shorter on time than we are on money. Nobody wants to blow out the budget on a resto project like this, but we need to get this thing on the road. So as quick as we can do that is the best option for us. So get stuck into this and see what we find, see what we can fix. All going well, it may not be too much of a challenge. Probably just jinxed it and it's all going to go to shit, but we'll find out. So what I've found so far, whoever did the last restoration was a big fan of body filler. And that's cool. That's cool. I mean, you can fix it properly or you can just wipe some snot over it and paint it and call it good. This is what you end up with. Cancer in your panels. I'm not entirely surprised by this, but all the same, it's not a major. From here up to here is pretty much just a big flat expanse of nothing. Yeah, 0.9 panel steel from here to here, all the way back to there. So that's why we're going for this now, because we've made the decision that we're going to go with patch panels for the inside for the footwells. So that means we can crack on with this stuff here, which visually is very satisfying once you have it done, because then the overall appeal of the vehicle goes up substantially once you don't have those little rust panels in the middle of what's otherwise, you know, quite a presentable side of the vehicle. As for these ones here, we are going to be replacing the entire panel. So they're aftermarket available, and that is a direct bolt-on. I say direct, it's a Chinese panel. It's going to take a bit of mucking around to get it to fit, but that's fine. The perks of this is they come with all the internal structure. So your pillars, all your bracing. This joint here in this flat section does not exist in the replacement panel. And that's a big advantage because it's one less spot that you get rust. Case in point. So these will be getting replaced front to rear. Massive time saver, and they are pretty cancered out. So that's going to be our anyway. Right, so in my travels with the grinder, I've found loads of bog. There's like a good buddy 2 millimeters, maybe even 3 mils of bog on there, and I suspect that continues the whole way down. I can't see any primer under there either, so my guess is that when this restoration, in air quotation marks, has happened, it's been bogged just over bare metal. So that's great. Keep grinding. Grind it till you find it. Now marked out a section that I want to replace here. As you can see, there's been an old rust repair done here and it's not been done well. I think it's just been a patch over top of the existing steel. So that's rusted out underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that whole section. It's all flat panels, pretty easy to fabricate. Cut it out in nice square sections, make it easy to make new ones. There we have the first of our rust cut panels. So you can see on the inside there, it's pretty well corroded and there has been a repair over an existing panel, which isn't great, and that's come through in rust all the way through. Put one foot, you do it.
No. Right, so I've just measured this up, cut it out, and put some weld through primer on the back because it's going to be sitting on this bar. We're not going to be able to reach it. So we're going to pop it in and tack it out. Yeah, my first panel. I'm really excited about it. Day 3 in the shed today. While Monty's inside working on some of the rust in there, I'm starting to work on these panels. There's quite a bit of rust, as you can see, some of the bubbling. I've started down here. I'm just gonna grind out all this paint and bog and see how much rust we're dealing with down there and make up some new panels. So I've just grinded all of this back. There's so much bog on there. So we can see all the rust that we're dealing with. That one's actually all right, it was just a crack. So I'm gonna mark it up now and then cut it out, make some panels for it.
So while Lauren's been busy on the outside there, I've been cutting things to pieces inside. What I've done is cut all of the rusted sections away that were in this original seat platform. So the reason that they're square like this in the back of these old Troopies is because they had seats running up either side, so 2 bench seats. And being flat panels, having lots of hollows and little places underneath all the mounts and braces for mud, water and things to sit, they become very, very rusted, and that's what's happened with our one. So I've been through and cut the strips out all the way back to the edge of the bracing, and I've had to do that because if you look closely here, this is where the bracing is missing. So I've run a disc along the edge and cut all this away, and back here is what it used to look like. It's a bit of a shadow there, I'll grab a torch. So you can see in that corner there, there's a bit of rust forming under the edge of the brace, and that's what we had all the way along, but on a much, much worse scale. So I've cut all of this away and replacing these sections here that I've cut out, so I'll patch those up. And then for adding the strength back in, I cut some strips out and then took them to a mate who has a brake press, because painting these over on the edge of the concrete like I did for the sills just isn't practical. They end up bent and warped, so you really need to fold stuff with the proper machinery when you're doing it on long sections like this. So this is going to go in here to replace that edge of the bracing that I've cut off, and it'll get stitch welded in there. Underneath is going to be primer and some adhesive body sealant which I've picked up. So this is a high strength structural adhesive sealant from Sikaflex. So that's Sikaflex 252, and it's perfect for this job. That's exactly what it's designed for. So that'll fill the gap, which will run along underneath the brace, add some extra strength into it, and add some watertight properties in there as well. That should take care of the problem that we've had on this side. Hopefully don't have to repeat it on the other side, but all things being equal, we probably will. So that's what I've got, a couple of extra braces there to cover that off. So it gets worse. We've managed to finish what we were doing on top of the seat, which I'll show you in a minute. The last sort of patches that I had to do along the edge of this seat brace, I knew were behind the body mounts. I knew when I bought it that the body mount had a big hole in it, and I kind of forgot about it until now. So cut this panel off to expose the body mount, and unfortunately when I kept cutting, I've just rediscovered, I guess, the hole in the body mount. So the body mount's completely rotten out and gone. So what I've done is I've cut this section of floor away, drilled out the rivets, or the spot welds rather, that hold it on, and I'm actually going to cut the body mount off, take it over to the bench and fab up a new one. It's all pretty straightforward stuff. It's all flat panels. It's going to be very time consuming, but you can't buy these parts, so just going to have to make one. Then I'm going to have to repeat the process on the other side, because there is an identical hole, again, all things being equal, in rusty old vehicles. So yeah, cut that out, try and make a new one, make the best out of a very rusted old tin can. Is that not one of the most depressing things you've ever seen? Almost. It'll be easy. I've got the new body mount made up. So this is made out of 3 pieces. Obviously the first piece, which is the upright, and then the second piece being the support along the bottom, and then the third being the cross member that goes on the bottom of the body. So that's all just made up out of some 1.6mm sheet, eyeballed, cut, folded, welded, and that's come up quite nicely. Certainly a major improvement on what was in there. Yuck. So now it's time to put it in the vehicle, test fit it, tack it up, and then finally weld it in. Right, so it's time to fit these body mounts. We've got the body mount section here that goes down onto the chassis itself. This section mounts onto the upright panel here. And this is the part that slips in inside, like so. And I'm going to fit this underneath. It's a bit of maneuvering to get it to happen. So I'm going to fit this in here like that, tack it in place, and then I can put the lower section of the mount in to set the distance for where it's going to be welded to this part, and so that it butts up against the back of this panel nicely for some spot welds, and that'll be the whole job done. I'll fit a couple of little braces on the inside here between these two sections for a bit of extra strength because I've cut it all the way through, but it's not super necessary because this section is spot welded to the bottom of the body itself, so that will give it enough strength. Better safe than sorry, and that should be our brand new body mount fabricated. And this is the end result. A few grinding sparks and stuff on it. It's a bit dirtier than it was when I first finished it. Now it's time to paint. So this is the finished product for the bull bar. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a shrunk version of what was already there. I quite like the old Australian 5-poster kind of style. So this is what we have now, and that's the end of that part of the project for us. And we're now going to be moving on to some of the panels that we've had on order that are hopefully going to be turning up very soon. And that'll be us removing the roof and replacing the rain gutters, some other bits and pieces that we really need for, say, floor pans, rear sill, that kind of thing, and the big pieces, which is the rear walls. So that's very exciting. Tune in with us next time and we'll tackle that part of the project.